Hey everyone, this is Greyson Chance here. I just finished my interview on the Zach Sang show, and I hope you watch it and that you'll enjoy.
Let's do this. Zach Sang Show.
Hello, beautiful humans. We got Dan here.
Yep.
And we got Greyson Chance in the
All right.
studio.
Hey, thank you so much.
Portraits is the album. We were briefly talking about you being okay and down to pay for Dan's hair to be dyed.
Yes.
And in return, you just want friendship. Are you at a place in your life again, now that Portraits is blowing up and you're selling out tour stops, where you feel like you need to use money to attract friendship?
No, not at all. I think, Dan and I just want to one-up you. If you, that's the basis of it. If you're saying I helped Dan pay for his hair, I'm like, well, I'm going to help Dan pay for something else. And then, I want blackmail on Zach Sang.
And I got it.
That's my end goal.
It's an even trade.
That's what I need.
I'm really nervous about any type of blackmail that you claim to have, Dan. That really freaks me out.
I might have a few secrets about you too. I'm trying to think if I do.
Oh, geez.
Ooh, wow. Share them if you can figure them out.
Yeah.
Greyson, you are a good friend for many reasons. You call me out on my texting nonsense.
Yes.
Which I respect. And I need more in my life. I think a lot of people are
Yes.
afraid to call me out on the little and big things that I do.
Yeah.
What were you pissed at me for?
Well, so here's the thing. So, I'm the type of person where, Zach and I have known each other for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
And so I met up, Zach and I rekindled our friendship because I was spending more time in LA right when we started writing the record. And we meet up, we have dinner, we hang out, we're doing all the things. And he's a buddy. And then, so many people try to get a hold of me, on a day-to-day basis, right? And I have texts and I have emails I have to go through. And I respond back to them. I can't get a hold of Zach Sang ever. But it's weird. So here's the thing is I'll send him important text about, hey man, let's hang out. And then 5 weeks later, he'll send me something completely random, unrelated, and then be like, here's the thing. And I'm just like, okay. But we've gotten better to the point because now I've been like, listen, help me help you. What is the best way to get in touch? And we've been doing better the past few months. But it's one of those things I know that anytime I see you, it's okay. We pick it back up.
I value every second I spend with you, but that really, truly is a sign of a good friend and somebody who really wants to spend time with you.
You're busy. I understand.
Yeah, but you go, what is the best way for me to get in touch with you?
Yeah.
What is the easiest thing that's going to get you a notification? Yeah. You're really welcoming and flexible. Yeah. You're a beautiful person.
You're busy, but it's, and me too. I only travel to 10 different cities throughout the week. But you're
yeah, you're doing a lot of
You're
shit.
really busy.
You're so much busier than him and you have time to text him. What's your excuse,
I do,
Zach?
but every night before I go to bed, this is what you have to do.
Okay.
Every night before you go to bed, do correspondence. Do 15 minutes of correspondence. It will make your life so much better and so much easier. Because if you go through your text and you're like, okay, I'm going to hit back. Maybe Dan feels neglected too, and maybe he just hasn't told you yet. Who knows,
Well, we don't text very often. We see each other enough, but
Yeah.
when I text him, he actually responds pretty quickly.
Okay, now I'm pissed.
To be honest with you, and I cannot wait to discuss Portraits with you. It is a remarkable body of work.
Thank you.
Really into it. To cap this off, I have felt like I've been drowning in messages and people reaching out. And I have over 500 unread text messages, which is really unhealthy. So I've kind of given in to the drowning. But to everybody, I will make a pact. I will swim. I will doggy paddle my way out of the Portraits.
Yes.
Hey, before we talk to you, and I know that this is a timed interview, but so you and I, we've been friends for a long time, as has been previously discussed. And we've talked about how excited I've been to come back on the show because I've told you when I come back, I'll actually have something to promote and it'll be exciting. So.
What?
Ooh.
Oh, here.
I brought whiskey
Giddy
All
up.
right,
for
let's
us
do
to
it.
drink. Yeah, so hold on, I'm going to get up and pour some
please.
whiskey. Okay.
I like it. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is a bullet. It will put hair on your chest.
I have none.
Yeah.
I don't need any more of that.
But
I'm a real man.
yeah, all
Can you
92
tell?
pounds of you. Wow. Oh my God, you hear that gulp? Jeez.
Okay, Dan.
Oh, giddy up.
Thank you.
Do you want any?
Oh, no, I'm good.
I feel like I have to do this standing up.
My publicist is secretly like so distraught, probably back there. Like,
No, he's thinking Bullet should be paying for this right now.
Is
Cheers,
somebody gonna make a
everybody.
toast?
Well, okay. One,
yeah,
Greyson,
thanks.
I've watched you grow in the most incredible ways. Your music has evolved. It's really, it's hard to put into words the type of artist you are, what you've seen, what you've experienced in life, what you've gone through, what you've helped usher in. It's unbelievable. And to watch you rise and continue to freaking put your art out there and tell your stories,
Thanks.
it's really remarkable.
Thanks,
Never stop because your music has meaning and you're doing a lot of good.
Cheers. Thank
Love
you
you.
guys. Thanks for
Cheers
having me
to
on the
that.
show. Love you too, man.
Always.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Yeah. I've had worse.
Oh, damn. I feel like now I need to sense their reaction. I need to be like, oh, too.
Zach, what do you think?
I can't feel my tongue. By the way, you had double the size of the shot I just took, and you took it like a champ. Can we go through your pre-show ritual? Because I do feel like booze is involved.
So lately, a bit, but in a healthy way. I think Freddie Mercury used to have a shot of vodka before he went on stage any night. And I'm actually kind of a wreck before I go on stage. I'm very, very nervous.
Why?
It's funny. It's like the second that I get up onto stage, I'm instantly like, I zone in. And, I think you saw this at the show too. Like, the set is an hour and a half and it's my most fun. Like, I love playing the show. But it's like getting up to that point. I just think I'm nervous about, okay, it's a long set. Am I vocally going to be there? Is the crowd going to be there? All these things. You just have all these thoughts running in your mind. And so I do, like 5 minutes before I go on, I do a shot of just room temp vodka.
Giddy up.
And then I usually might have a drink too on top of that. But I'm not like wasted on stage.
Do you want to be in a place where nerves don't happen before a show? Or do you want the nerves to exist?
I almost think like it keeps me kind of sharp, right?
Yeah.
Like it sort of makes sure I'm on my game and ready to go. But also too, I think another reason why you do it, and I like remember hearing this in an interview that he did, was like, I know that when I get up on stage, people are probably already a few drinks down. They're already having a little fun. So I'm like almost feeling like, okay, I need to catch up.
Yeah, match them.
Yeah,
Portraits. Beautiful album.
Thank you.
Obviously, a different Greyson Chance that sits here in front of us today. From the first time I met you back in like 2011, even to the last time you were on the show, I think 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, completely changed.
I mean, in your mind, what is the most obvious to you? The difference between Greyson today and Greyson, even Good as Gold Greyson?
Yeah. Well, I think Good as Gold and Low, I still, that was me, 100%. I think, the last time even I was on the show, it just wasn't, it wasn't me yet. It was just still a bit, I think I was in the headspace of making music for different reasons rather than just writing from, myself and my own experiences. I still think I was in that headspace of, when I started, of making sure that I'm making music that's releasable and making music that's marketable and all those sorts of things. And I think my decision to come back now, I don't think in that way anymore. I'm just really focused on, okay, I have a voice. What do I want to say? And how do I want this to sound? And that's the prime focus.
But what motivates the stories that you're telling? Is it your reality?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've been telling people when they ask about the record, it's like, okay, what is Portraits to you? And I'm like, if you want to know how my 2018 was, put on this record. It's all there because every song is, it's a different snapshot. It's a different torn page from my journal of just what I went through last year.
When you were making Good as Gold, would you say that is a record that lacked a sense of genuineness?
No, not necessarily. I stand behind Good as Gold and Low. I really like those records. And those records, too, were the ones that really sort of got me my deal and got me back into where I am now. But it was a bit different. I think at that time, I was still just writing music. That's like right when I started my second year in college. So I was just now coming back to be like, okay, I'm writing again and it's feeling good. I don't think I had a sense of where I wanted it to go. When I started writing portraits, that's like right after I had said I'm not going to college anymore. I'd accepted my deal, I dropped out. And then I knew, okay, it's time to make it, it's time to be a big boy now, and it's time to make a record. And what does that mean? And then everything was very intentional at that point.
Those two records usher it in, obviously, it gets you the deal, and it gives you a chance to really understand what does the new Greyson sound like?
Yeah. Damn, you tell me, I don't know.
Dude, portraits, I want to know what story you're telling, because I'm going to go a couple record by record a little bit. It feels like in some moments you're talking to other people, in some moments you're talking to yourself, and the album should be played top to bottom, right? Because
thank you. Yes,
there's a story you're telling.
Yeah, I think this story. I think there was 3 themes of main inspiration from it. I think the first one was transformation. You and I have talked privately, but when I decided to leave music and go to college, I was very content on that decision. If you had talked to me in that moment in time, I said, listen, I've been through a lot. I deserve this. I want to go to law school. I'm not coming back to music. It's done. I had a good run. And so this whole idea then of getting this deal and then coming back to it, that and it's all in its own way. Even the first time I came back to LA after leaving college, it was just, I had all these emotions. So I think transformation was a big point of inspiration. I thought I was going to get married last year, and that didn't work out. So love and heartbreak, very, very big points of influence. And I would say lastly too, I think the one of the biggest points of inspiration for the album is redemption. Me wanting to make a body of work that I felt like I could really show the creative world here and just the creative world in general, music lovers, and say, I really think you might like this.
This is your worst.
Yeah.
Do you want people to judge you based on portraits and not what's come before?
I think you can listen to the music that has come before. I don't think you should treat it like the same artist. It's just a different person completely. And that's okay. But, and I get a lot of flack for this in this press cycle, by the way, because people have come out and been like, you can't say that, that was you in this entire thing. And I look back and I'm like, think about when you were 14 and then when you turned 21. And then you're really going to give me BS over saying it's 2 different artists? Come on. You grow.
Exactly. And also, in addition to that, you had a lot of people behind you kind of directing you and pulling you and pushing you in different creative directions that weren't necessarily always from your heart. Yeah.
Well, another thing, too, that, I've been saying, and that is, I don't know, I think invokes a little bit of controversy, too, but I've been saying that Portraits is my debut record. And people have said, well, what about your first one? And my response is, I don't have any regrets, and it's not like I'm ashamed of that work. I'm really proud of it. I was 14 years old. That was such an accomplishment. But I didn't write it. It wasn't mine, it was created for me. And I, had maybe an opinion here and there on it, but when you're dealing with the label I was dealing with, and all well, and that's not my record.
No, it's their way or the highway.
Yeah.
And you had no leverage in any deal. The world needs to remember that you were literally a kid from Oklahoma who started through a YouTube video.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the first viral videos to ever exist.
Yeah.
In addition to that, you were one of the first people to prove that music can be discovered from untapped sources through the internet. Let's go back to the themes of this record. Transformative, heartbreak. You were thinking about getting married.
Yeah.
Was that your thoughts? Was that his thoughts? And were you really on the verge of proposing? Because I remember you bringing it up to me, but I didn't know how serious it really was. I mean, I knew it was serious. You felt love deeply. But I didn't know marriage was on the horizon for somebody I'm looking at who's a fetus still.
Yeah, we had been dating at that point for around 9 to 10 months. And I had never, I don't know, I think I learned, I think true love is really deprioritizing yourself. And there are unhealthy ways that happens sometimes too. And I've seen that in relationships. But I think it's really sort of waking up in the morning and putting yourself in the number 2 slot. And then, having that other person and saying, how are they doing? What's going on? And I just had never felt that before. And I felt that for him. And, I really thought that we were so together. We were so in sync. And, there were multiple reasons why we were talking about marriage. and why we had talked about getting engaged, and it would have been a really long engagement. But yeah, we were definitely talking about it.
What was the reason?
Well, technically, he was an international student, and it's very, very hard for students to get jobs after they come and study in the States. So a green card could have really helped him out. But that's not, I'm like almost regretting that I'm saying that. That's really not the reason why. But we did talk about that on a, sort of tangible way of, this would make a lot of sense. And also too, we wanted to do it. But I think our conversations were short in that department, but I started to think about it a bit more serious towards the end. And I had actually started looking at rings about a week before he ended it.
Oh,
Yeah.
He ended it.
Yeah. And what's tricky about it too is that there was no downslope. There was no like, this is coming for a really, really long time.
There was no warning.
Yeah.
So you had no idea it was coming to an end?
None at all, literally. And it happened so fast, and it was not a good time.
Is the record yours about you convincing this guy that your love for him is real and strong enough to withstand any sort of amount of roads that separate the two of you?
I actually put it on I went on the Genius page and I made sure that I was very clear. That song is actually about my friends. It's about me leaving Oklahoma and saying, no matter how far I am, no matter what's going on, I'm still yours. 2 a.m. calls, oh, it's my nature. I'm a little bit high. Calling to tell you,
That's nice.
So that one's not about him. Now others on the record,
Yeah.
Quickly, why? It seems like a lot of people come out here, get successful, and they stay out here and they forget about where they come from. Why is it important for you to always go back to Oklahoma?
Yeah, that was a big, when I accepted the deal last year, one of the big things that I told myself is I said, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it 100% and you're going to do it on your own terms now. You're not going to cut any corners anymore. We don't have time for that. And one of the big things that I told myself was, you don't move to LA full time. You know that's not a good thing for you, so don't do it. So I told my management at the time, and I said, I'll come to LA for 3 or 4 weeks, work, and then I'm going to go back to Oklahoma for a week. And I think I'm more inspired there in an interesting way, and I think I'm able to see the blessings more when I'm out in Oklahoma. Because what we do too, and you and I have definitely talked about this, what an amazing life, we have, right? And even in you guys in the field that you work in music. But it's very easy to forget out here because this is the, epitome of industry. Everyone's doing something.
It's everywhere.
Of course. And so for me, like, if I spend too much time in LA sometimes, I find myself, comparing to other artists, looking around at what other people are doing. And then I just started, my self-confidence kind of dwindles. When I go back to Oklahoma, I feel way more at ease. And I'm really able to sort of sit down at a piano and think about, okay, you have a voice. What do you want to say? Do it now. And I'm able to just stay in that true mindset more than I am out here. But I've always said too, it's like no shade to LA because if I were not in music, I think I would love to live out here.
Yeah, because the weather's great.
Oh, it's beautiful. This is a wonderful city, but it's just the industry's hard out here,
Yeah, it's the people.
Yeah.
And it's the energy that fills the streets that makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think you keeping Oklahoma in your life in such a heavy way has led to the success of this record because and this album and all the songs because of how genuine it is and how true it is to you and the fact that you're not clouded by trends or fancy producers who are in LA or parties that you go to and figuring out who to collaborate with when. I don't know. I think it produces a more real body of work.
Thanks. I think so too.
The other thing you were doing in Oklahoma was you were giving back to the political landscape. You were volunteering like crazy. And to the point of transformative, I don't think a lot of people understand, but like you are a social advocate. You have the power to do a lot, and you are so smart, and you believe in a real political change from a grassroots perspective, and you dedicate a lot of time to educating people on what was actually happening in the political world.
Yeah.
You're turning your back on a lot. Law school, you love school.
I did. Yeah.
Dude, you loved it.
Yeah.
You're turning your back on a lot to put out portraits, to tour it, to do the cycle. Why? Why is this a story that you needed to tell?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There were two things, I think two main points to to it and why I wanted to come back. First, I felt like in college I had actually refound my purpose. And that really didn't happen until my second year there. And by the way, I didn't graduate. I'm a dropout.
I was going to ask about
yeah,
that.
which
Rock on, hardcore, bro.
yeah, lots of student loans later. Here I am drinking whiskey at
Sally Mae owns you.
1:15 in the afternoon. But you know, I think in my second year of school, you know, I was really good at what I was doing there, and I could have, you know, gone on and probably gotten into a really good law school and did the thing. And you know, I was working for a campaign at that point too. But there was just something about what I was writing, and there was something that I was feeling when I was waking up in the morning of like, I almost felt like, okay, this is my purpose. This is what I need to be doing. And then I think I also really thought about time and age and just sort of life in a grander concept. My biggest goals for myself when I left in May was I was like, listen, you're going to be 21 for only so long. You're only going to be this age for so long. So I was like, you know what?
A year.
Yeah.
That's the math on that.
Yeah, that's thanks. So I was like, you know what? Go and make a record. Put it out. You owe that to yourself. You owe that to the kid who got all those phone calls at 15 of saying, hey, we're dropping you. Hey, we're dropping you. Hey, what's up? We're dropping you. You know, we're
How
leaving.
you doing? We're dropping you.
You owe it to that kid. Go and put a record out. If it does well, great. You know, reassess when it comes out, how you're feeling, how things are going. And if it doesn't, you know what? That's cool too. Go pick it back up somewhere else, or, you know, go find a bar and drink whiskey at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like to me, it felt like I needed to do it.
I feel like that wasn't a hard pill for you to swallow.
Yeah.
The idea of this album not being successful and the idea of you even not selling out this tour.
Yeah, because I've gone through that before.
Yeah, you've done it already,
Yeah.
and you knew that you had a life waiting for you that you could flourish at.
Yeah.
I mean this with love. I'm so happy that one of the first viral moments happened to you because you have your head on your shoulders. That fame could have happened to a lot of people, and it could have gone so differently.
Yeah. I've been asked a lot too in this cycle. You know, people are always very curious. They're like, when you look back at that time, you know, what do you think about? Who do you think about? I really think of my parents, 100%.
I remember your dad coming with you to the radio studio.
No, but I'm only starting to understand this as I'm getting older, but I really put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what you do as a parent? And now when I look back at it, I'm like, how blessed was I? Because they were both so calming, so trusting and willing to be there and to say, you know, what do you want to do? Where's your mind at? And they didn't care about the money. They didn't care about anything else going on. And, you know, when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, there are so many times where it could have and it probably should have gone off the rails. And it didn't. And that's another thing I owe to Oklahoma, though, too. You know how many people during that beginning phase said, hey, we know you guys love it there, but if he's gonna really take this seriously, you need to relocate. You gotta get the house here. You gotta let it go. And my parents were like, no, we'll have a place out here, but we're not gonna do that.
Great.
And 3 years later, when everyone dropped me, I was really glad we still had that house. Thank God, you know.
Did you ever ask them why they made that decision?
Well, my sister was still in high school at the time, so I think that was a big indicator. They were like, no, we're not gonna completely change our lives, but I do think we were just trying to figure out how long term everything was going to be. But again, too, a lot of people would have just bit down on that and been like, psh, house in Bel Air, hell yeah, why not? Let's rock it out, let's do the thing. And that was like our complete. We were very cautious of everything.
Was there a part of you that knew that it couldn't last forever?
Yeah, and I mean, I still like. That's a big fear even right now. Maybe one of the only ones I have is that, you know, I'm in a position now. I really don't want to go back to school. I'm having so much fun. I really love making music right now. I feel so exhilarated by it. And, you know, I love playing these shows too. And so there is a part of me that's like, okay, I really hope it works out this time because I really, really want it to. And I don't need like, you know, my goals are not, you know, I don't want to walk out of this building and have cameras on me. That's never a big goal. That's never, you know, my dream, or have like crazy fame. I do want to be able to put on a good show and, you know, be an artist that people respect and people respect the work.
You've said that since we rekindled our friendship.
Yeah.
You just want to be able to sell out a venue.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about how important Brandy Carlisle is to me in that story. My goal right now is, what an incredible artist, and what she's able to do. She has such a devoted fan base because she's so badass, and she's proved herself that now she's able to make whatever record she wants because people will come see it.
Let's go into this album here.
Yeah.
Black on Black, great record.
Thanks. I know that's your favorite from the after party.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you're like rapping on it?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
a bit.
He drops the B word, blunts. He brings up the fact that, or on your knees, that is a quote from that. Very grown
Whoa.
up. Very grown up of you.
Whoa.
What's the full quote, Zach?
Well, I didn't write the full quote.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wrote blunts and on your knees. But I want to dive into the first, one of the first lyrics. I think I've seen you before on a poster that I hung on my door. I always wanted to see just a little more. Now you're lying next to me on my floor.
Ooh.
Are you hooking up with somebody who was on your wall at one point? Or
Not
who are you-
necessarily.
Yeah, who are you singing to? Are you singing about yourself?
I think it was just sort of, I think I'd begin to notice that it was just, and I mean, I noticed this too in an early part of my career, but it was so crazy, sort of hearing artists and seeing artists and admiring them. And then when you'd have the chance to meet them or interact, and then like you make your friends, you do this sort of thing. So I was just thinking about, like what rock star would I be so attracted to? And honestly, I was thinking a lot about Alex Turner, Arctic Monkeys.
You gave him a shout out.
Yeah, and Shut Up. And then Youngblood too, Dominic Harrison. I remember flipping through all of his photos when we were writing Black on Black. And it's not like specifically about those people, but it was just like this idea of the rock star.
Do you have a thing for Youngblood?
I love his music. I think he's really, really cute too. But
he's
no,
a little
I think
crazy.
he's a little crazy,
In a
but I
good
also
way.
think he likes girls, so that's okay too. Yeah.
We'll associate with you.
Yeah.
No, and his music is sick.
Yeah, I love the record.
Oh, dude, really like rock that I feel like our generation was missing almost.
Absolutely. And it also reminds me too a bit of Manson.
Yeah.
Like a bit of the things that I was listening to I was listening to through my brother when I was younger. He has that sort of flair,
You don't come across as a Manson type of guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess not today. Yeah, you're right. I actually, I grew up on a lot of rock music, and kind of during that, like just during that change, I actually studied a lot of his live show.
Okay.
Even for this tour too. He had great on stage presence. Yeah. But yeah, we could party to some Manson, especially with your hair now.
I'd
Yeah,
fit
let's
right
rock
in.
it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
We know the lady who channels his spirits.
Who's that?
Her name is Patty Negri.
Oh, yeah. She made me cry.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
wow.
goes to his house and like it's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's what we call witchcraft in
Oh.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Mama does some witchcraft. I'm telling you, you get the garlic.
Yeah.
You were talking about your brother before.
Yeah.
Planes. It's just a spoken word piece of the album.
Yeah.
Obviously important top to bottom to listen to it because they do flow into one another. You're talking about the first time, one of your first shows, you perform at your brother's frat house, and even you duplicate it in the live show. Why was that spoken word storytelling important to the overall album?
Well, so, I've had to see my mom this past year, sort of watch as both of her parents have been, sort of deteriorating and passing away. And it invokes this feeling in me too, where I was really thinking about what her final words to me might be. And that was just really present on my mind for like a week. I remember it. That's all I could think about. And so I just wrote a lot of things down that I was thinking at the time. And, I think what's so great about my relationship with my mom and why I cherish her so much and why when that day comes, I don't even want to think about that, but
For
why I'm
real.
going to miss her so much is because there have been so many times where I've called her and, I've wanted a pity card so bad. And I've wanted, I've said, this thing's happening or, this thing in music or this person in money and whatever. And she usually, sometimes she'll maybe throw it out, but it's usually like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Take a breath, calm down, put your head down. How can you work through this? And, that's the whole thing about that interlude is that's a true story. I actually did that at my brother's fraternity house. And I just thought what she said to me in that moment of like, I'm raising you to be a man. so be one. And right now there's this, big cultural conversation of, maybe how that can be toxic sometimes, verbiage like that. And I guess I hear that, but I also too, like, there's something to be said about, really stepping up to the plate and, putting your head down and getting the work done and really not pitying yourself. Like, what do I have to, go home to at night and be like, oh, poor me, Do I have to deal through a lot of, BS all the time? Of course. But so do a lot of people. And so that's what I was channeling during that song. And I just thought that story was important to hear before.
So the idea of moving forward, because then it goes into White Roses, right?
Yeah.
And White Roses.
That's the
Is that
breakup
death?
song.
There's a breakup?
Yeah, that's about the boy in the ring and all of those things. Yeah. And that was probably the hardest song to write on the record for sure.
Hard for you to relive? And at what point, like how long after you guys break up do you have the confidence or the ability to write that record?
It happened, I think, 2 or 3 months after. And, I think, it was so hard, if I'm being honest, because it was just, I knew that there was going to be that moment where I would have enough clarity. It was right after I didn't take care of myself at all. It's funny though, I didn't, it's interesting when you're in moments of, sort of like deep lows in your life, or at least how I've discovered, you almost don't do the things that you think you'll do, right? So like during that time, I bring whiskey to your show, you're almost like assuming, oh, I didn't take care of myself. It's like, oh, did you drink yourself like silly? No, I didn't. I actually didn't even touch a bottle at all. Like what I did though is I ran through that breakup, and which was
right.
actually the worst for me. I think I almost wish I would have picked up the bottle. I had no sense of mental control at the time. I was so distraught about this and couldn't figure it out. So Zach knows this story, but so I would run at my track at my university. I would run sometimes two times a day, and on a really bad day 3 times a day, but I would do like 6 to 8 miles.
That's not
and,
really.
It was really bad.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
No, and I would run to the point where my legs would all the things. And I remember there was one specific time where I fell, and I fell pretty badly, and I was bleeding, and I, fell on my knees and things. And I remember just thinking like, you cannot do this anymore. And I was losing weight like crazy, and it was just a bad time. And what's funny to me about that song is, so if you listen to it, you have verse, chorus, and then you have this bridge moment. But I was only able to write that song when I finally felt like I hit my stride, meaning mentally when I was able to sort of take a step back from that breakup and I felt like, okay, I have a moment. But when I was writing it, I was thinking about when I was running and how I would hear a certain song. And how like if you're working out and you feel that, and I really wanted that to be emulated within the music. And that's why there's that break point. So for me, that entire song, like from top to bottom, it's really just me talking about that period of how I went through, really sort of utter chaos in my life. I didn't know how to pick it up. I didn't know what to do. I chose these outlets, i.e. running through this track, which was very unhealthy. And then finally, by the time that bridge hits, that's the moment of clarity. That's the moment of, okay, I'm picking it up, and then able to take a breath and move on. And I too, like, I'm glad I get to explain that, because again, too, maybe the listener doesn't pick up on that. But to me, when I listen to it, it's so clear. I see the entire story. And if you listen to the lyrics too of the bridge, I think it makes sense as well. But yeah, that was the hardest song to write, 100%.
But important for you to get out?
Absolutely. Music is and I say this in the show too, it's like, as a songwriter, I really don't know any other way to get through this crazy thing that we're all in. I just write. I write through it, and yeah, hope that things turn out okay. Hope that people listen.
You believe in democratic change, though. You know what I mean? We are in a
Damn
lot
straight,
going
yeah.
on. And, one way to get through is obviously to vent. But remember, you got to be a part of the system to beat the system.
Absolutely. Is that a segue into a new topic, or is that just a period point?
I was going to segue into something new.
Okay, go into something new.
Okay.
I have a quick question about that song.
Yeah.
Did that song help you get over the breakup, or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here without it. And also too, I haven't spoken to him since we broke up. Not a single word.
Wow.
But has he reached out?
I don't know. I blocked him on everything.
Good. Do you want him to hear the record?
I don't know. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to hear from him anymore.
Even if like you guys could end up getting back together one day?
Would never do that. No, because loyalty's my only currency. And like you left me then, you leave me forever. Yeah, weird. I don't want to see him ever again.
Yeah, and he like left. There
Yeah.
was not a single way of contacting each other.
Yeah.
So why waste your time?
He probably sees what you're doing though.
That's okay. I try not to think about that because a lot of people have told me like, and especially the album release day when we had that huge billboard up in Times Square, they were like, I bet he's seeing that, and I don't want him to listen to this. Like, I don't want him to take credit in that music. That's not his. That's mine. You know, like I don't want him to be like, oh yeah, that song's about me. Like, you know, I don't know. But at the same time, I'm also hearing the things I'm saying, and I'm like, well, now that seems like a bit mean. But I just,
No,
I don't
it's your
know.
story.
To anyone listening, it's like, you weren't there, I was. It was hard. You weren't on that track, I was. Yeah.
Bleed You Still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fun record.
People say just start as friends, but it ain't easy to pretend. It sounds like you're professing your love to somebody.
Yeah, I think that record's actually the most like, that record's about a bedroom moment for sure. Of, you know, like, you're just sort of, you'll be the oxygen I breathe under the covers if you need, like, yeah. And yeah, we shouldn't talk too much about that one.
Even if your loving leaves, I'll bleed you still. It's weird. The one thing I picked up in the lyrics is that you're talking in two different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're talking to somebody, but you're not loving them. You will be. You can be.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you trying to turn a bedroom moment into something more?
I think you're on the money, yeah.
Oh. Is this the same person who broke up with you?
Maybe not.
Okay, so yes.
Are you the one who took a one-night stand and saw that seed?
This might be about someone different.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
One night just switched it up.
Yeah. Whoa. Time out.
Yeah, stop the clock.
It's getting very hot here. Ooh.
It is getting a little warm, isn't
I
it?
need some more whiskey.
It's me. Okay.
Oh no, keep asking questions
Well,
about it.
I want to know if it's the same person or not, and even if it is not, was there a real tangible moment where you actually professed or tried to convince somebody to turn a one-night stand into something more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did it turn into anything?
Maybe. I don't want to talk about this one too much. This one is too,
Okay.
I can't, and I almost
It's a deep
feel,
record,
I
dude.
almost feel like you know why I don't want to talk about it based on conversations we've had.
Oh.
But I don't know
Yeah.
if I mean, to be honest, like, we have one friend that has loose lips. Remember, loose lips sink ships.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's this. I don't know.
But what's wrong with turning a one night stand into a real relationship?
Nothing,
from
and
Dan.
it's a beautiful thing when it happens. And what that record is about is like me realizing what I was being viewed as to this other person, and it's sort of me saying like, whoa, hold up, like I can give you that moment, that ecstasy moment, 24/7 if you stick around, and not just in like a sexual like bedroom way. It's more or less of like, I can give you something that you want to stick around for.
Yeah.
So it's like a plea, that song. But it is about someone different than the other boy who's the deeper heartbreak.
So I just want to know if it was successful. I just want to know if your plea paid off.
Not really.
Okay.
It didn't work out. And that's okay. That happens too.
Temporary, but does
Yeah.
that hurt?
Yeah, but this one was a bit more different. I don't think, I went through 2 relationships last year. The one that ended that we've talked about a lot, and then one that was much shorter that was towards the end of the year, which I actually am like okay with. It ended, but it was okay. Like it just, we were on different paths, and like things like that happen sometimes. But I still wrote about it, of course.
Different paths, meaning life, right? What you were
Yeah.
looking for?
Yeah, 100%. But I actually, the way that it was handled was far, far better than the first one was, and I actually respect this person a lot, and it's okay.
By the way, one-night stands. I feel like the success rate of a one-night stand turning into something that is a legitimate, meaningful relationship is not super high.
Well, no, but I mean, you never know until you try it.
And I'm not just saying it as a 25-year-old virgin in the room, but like hooking up, like going all the way first time you meet somebody, second time you meet somebody, you literally blow your load. So like there's nothing left to build up to and work towards. Do you get what I'm saying?
I disagree, kind of.
Go ahead.
I think sometimes you feel it immediately. And so you have to, it's like
You
not even a
need
choice.
it more. It's like a drug.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
but don't you question things that make you feel that way?
Hell no. I support it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Molly really gave me quite a ride. Really put me in
Oh,
another
I did not
level.
say that. No.
Oh, yeah.
Do not support drug usage. Come on.
But it's like, maybe this is the mentality I need to be adapting in my life to, I don't know, find love.
Lose the V card?
Well, just be open to one night stands. Usually I'm very hesitant about it.
Well, okay,
have
hold
options.
on. Okay, I think this is going off the rails. Hold on. I have a few points. I think, okay, everything is individualistic. Everything is case by case. Me relating back to this song, it was something that I think there was an intention of like, okay, this is only going to be a one night thing. It turned into something longer, and that's because I kind of wanted it to, and I think he did
pushed for
too, and I proved to him some things. In your situation though, again too, like, I don't know. I support a one night stand, and I support someone like doing something with another human that they actually like though, and that they're actually like this person. Like if you go out on a great date and you're there and it's like hour 4.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's cool to be like, okay, maybe we should have sex right now. There's nothing wrong with that because you've obviously connected with that person. But if you're like sitting down at like Volcano for like 45 minutes and then like all of a sudden someone is just like, yeah, let's go back to your house, probably don't do it. Like every case is individualistic. And no shade to Volcano, but why are you there? Like all of these things, just be careful out there.
By the way, I'm game for the 4-hour thing.
Yeah.
But like you gonna talk to me for 20 minutes? It's a little weird.
Yeah. And I've been on enough like bad dates to be like, oh my God, like has it been an hour yet? Like I'm ready to get out of here.
Are you actively dating?
I don't know.
What motivates that? Is it your want to find love? Is it your want to live life? Is it your want for inspiration?
I just think I'm really sick of boys. I really think, and I don't mean that on like an age like level or spectrum or anything. I'm just really sick of people my age who have not grown up, and I'm ready to meet a man, 100%.
He wants a man.
Oh, yeah.
No, not in that way, but just someone who knows himself, who's confident in themselves, and who is not afraid to like, because the older I'm getting, the more I'm discovering like no relationship is perfect. It's work. You have to like devote yourself. And I think for me, I want someone who's going to stick around. And I'm not really interested in just sort of dabbling around here and there. But at the same time, I'm like barely in a city for more than 48 hours these days. So it's difficult.
Well, you want a man who can travel with you. You want a man who's going to be there.
Yeah, maybe.
The song "Yours" applies.
Yeah.
So.
But we'll see. Right now, I'm kind of married to the record and married to the show, and that's cool too. I went through enough last year where I'm like pretty content with being alone right now.
I wish I was the same. Spend too much time alone. Seasons 19, beautiful record.
Thanks.
Move forward like the seasons. It's really a great message.
My life mantra, probably, for sure.
I mean, there's many, many moments where you could have just tapped into the sidelines, and you didn't at all. I mean, to rewrite our stories past, not looking back, to rewrite our stories past, I gave up years ago. I mean, it's a life record for you, right?
100%. And that was a record that we put out to the summer that I had left music, right when I was going into college. We put it out independent, like threw it up on TuneCore, and
oh wow,
and it became, but a different version of it, and it became like a fan favorite. And then we had this idea of, when this record came around, of reproducing it, and I really liked the idea. And then I wrote a new verse for it that was sort of like my like catch up basically to the fans, to say this is where I've been. And that's actually one of my favorite parts of the show too, because that's like the first moment after that verse where it kind of breaks and I jump around, and it's sort of an entrance into, hey, it's going to be a fun night.
Would you say it kind of summarizes a little bit of everything? And
absolutely. To me, it's and especially that verse too, the ending line of it, of the new verse that I wrote for it, is, I wish he would love me in the way that I loved him. And obviously after everything we've talked about today, that was so reflective of my last year. And yeah, it feels like my life record. And that's probably the one. I'm not really listening to the album that much anymore, obviously, because just heard it so many times and
You're playing it.
yeah, and doing that too. But there have been any moments where in the past few weeks where I felt a little down in my mind or a little nervous or anxious for how things were going to go. I put on that record a lot.
What about a record that updates? It stays the same, but it updates with every album.
It's kind of a good idea, right? Maybe there's going to be a seasons 20, seasons 22, seasons 84.
Keep moving forward like the seasons.
Yeah.
Shut Up. That's the first record on the album. I Cannot Hold My Tongue. You Give Me Much to Say. I'm Sweating Bullets. Nervous that you push away.
And When Your Eyes Catch Mine.
Oh, man. If you want, I can. If you ever want to do just like a spoken word version, I'll give you my person's contact.
Okay.
This is you coming eye to eye with somebody who's just beautiful. What lyric started this record?
Okay. Also, too, just talking to you guys now, like, I'm so nervous about reading the comment section in this because I feel like people are gonna be like, wait, how many guys did you see last year? Holy crap! Wow.
How many was it?
27.
27.
That's actually a new low for him.
Wow.
I'm not that type of person, really, at all. But I guess now, if I'm going to be completely honest, I guess, yeah, last year was interesting. I was in Israel, and I was working,
You were with some super smart genius man.
Yeah, with some super smart genius man. And, like, whenever you're, like, sort of in, like, when you're just in it with someone and you really, really like them, maybe on this date that's 4 hours long before you end up back wherever you end up, and you just like them so much and you don't want the conversation to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wrote Shut Up about. And so, yeah, there was this guy in Israel, and we were on the same dig site together. I was studying archaeology at the time. And
Sweet.
so we were working on this site, and I just thought he was so cool, and I was just talking circles around him, and we only kissed. It was a very, like, PG-13 thing. But, yeah, when I was on the airport coming back, I just wrote all those words down, all the lyrics that you just read.
Oh, wow.
I just wrote them down and didn't have music at the time for them. And then came back to LA and then finished the song. But yeah, like When Your Eyes Catch Mine. Oh, I know I talk too much, so give me your two lips and baby, I'll shut up. Like,
sounds better when I read it, but yes.
Yeah.
So you couldn't stop talking.
Oh no, I mean, I just, anytime the conversation was about to lag, and I almost felt like he might go talk to someone else, I'd be like, so God, like.
Religion.
That's crazy, right? Like
the theory of life.
Like, or some random war. Like, yeah, what do you think about that war? Like, whatever I could bring up, just to keep him there, so we could keep on talking. It's like, yeah, that was definitely the thing, but kind of romantic in Israel. It was a cool moment.
Are you a leather guy? You give your style, your arms.
Yeah.
Wrapped in leather.
Makes me want you forever. Yeah, I guess so. I have a lot of leather in my closet for sure.
I'm trying to figure out what that says about somebody.
I don't know.
He's not a vegan.
He's from Oklahoma.
That's
I
right.
actually don't eat meat though.
Oh, really?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not a vegan.
Do you eat meatless things? Like meatless meats?
No, not really. I don't know.
Oh.
I kind of think I'm almost a bit freaked out by, like, and especially places in LA too, where they'll be like, oh, it's like a vegan chicken or something.
But it
or
bleeds.
And it's just weird. And I'm just like, I'm not really, I don't know. It's a bit strange to me.
No. It is the future of meat eating, and it will help us in solving global warming. Meatless worlds are the future.
Okay.
Seriously, cows, manure, ozone layer.
You're right. But the one thing I really do miss about now not eating meat is I freaking love chicken wings so much. And I really do miss them a lot. But yeah, I don't do that anymore.
I can help secure you amazing chickenless chicken wings that it will be hard for you to tell the difference.
I don't know though, but I think it's
telling
also, is the texture really similar?
Yes.
No, then I don't want it.
No.
Because that's weird.
What if we'll go out to eat and I won't even tell you?
What about cauliflower wings? I'm down for that.
Delicious.
Yeah.
They're
Thanks,
so
Dan.
good.
You guys.
Dan's so cool. I like Dan a lot.
That's what I keep hearing these days.
I bet Dan would text me back when I texted him.
If you ever text me, I'll text you back right away.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
No problem.
We're going to start hanging out. I'm going to post it all over my Instagram story.
I'll cry. You want to see me cry? I'll send you photos of me crying myself to sleep.
At least
Oh,
he'll
no.
send you a photo. At least he'll text you back.
Yeah, I know. And then I'll just tag you really small, but then I'll put it in the corner just so no one else sees it, but you, like it specifically blows up your inbox.
Yeah. Just let Dan steal my friend. Add it to the list. But I'm telling you, meatless eating.
Okay.
Meatless things are. Just try it. Just
Okay.
go in with an open mind.
Okay.
We want to move
If it
into
means me
this.
and you hanging out, then yeah, I'm down. I'm
you
here
so
for
much.
it.
Hey, Lights. Who's speaking in that?
Yeah, so that one's fun, right? That little
Yeah.
interlude. I had just landed in Vegas. I was going to meet my friend. I think I've told you I'm a really big Arcade Fire fan.
Yeah.
I love Arcade Fire. I've been wanting to see them since I was like little. And they were playing Life is Beautiful. My friend and I got tickets, and so I was just coming from LA, and I had landed in Vegas, and it was the first time I was going to be in Vegas after turning 21. And I got in the cab, and this woman was just incredible, like amazing. I have to sit in the front seat because I get car sick sometimes if I'm in the back seat for too long. So like any cab or Uber situation is usually I get to know these people, which I don't love, but you know, it's better than throwing up.
Stories.
And she just started talking and about her, you know, life in Vegas, and she was just telling me about how, you know, when she gets these really beautiful ladies in the car, she always tells them, go to this place because they have the Chippendales. And then I said, well, what's the best strip club in Vegas? And she just went on, and I just recorded it. And I remember getting to my hotel and meeting my friend there, and I said, I'm going to use this for something. And my friend was like, yeah, good luck. Like, you're never going to use that. And then, you know, months later, I sent her the record, and she was like, damn it, you really did use that. That's insane. But I love that.
Do you ask this woman for permission?
Nope.
No, and now I feel like I'm going to get sued now because of this interview.
No. Knocking on wood. You're fine. Keep going.
Yeah. But I think we had a good enough connection. I did not ask her for permission. She did not know I was recording. And I hope she doesn't see this interview, and I hope she never hears the interlude, and I hope it just lives on its own.
Why was it important to put that in there? Like,
I just thought it was really fun and really interesting. It has no significance to the song whatsoever. Well, I actually will say, you're coming out of White Roses.
Yeah.
You're coming out of this super, you know, we've talked about it, super heavy thing. And I thought it was a great entrance into a song that's light and airy and more fun. And I loved it.
What does it go into? Is it?
It goes into Black on Black.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
My record.
Yeah.
Timekeeper. Great record too.
Thanks.
What is the sound at the top of that song? Is that like an airport or a train station?
Yeah, so I had another voice memo moment. I was in the UK for a connecting flight and just really liked the way this voice sounded and did the thing. And yeah.
But it kind of follows a little bit through the record, right? It appears at the back end of it.
Yeah, so it appears in Seasons. Seasons goes directly into Timekeeper.
Whoa.
And yeah, so that sound just carries it through into the next song.
So there are obvious connection points between record to record.
Mm-hmm.
Do you share the same audio or sounds often?
No, it was really, and again too, this was something that I really, when thinking of making an album, you know, I really wanted something that I felt like top to bottom you could listen to. And I spent weeks and months of tedious listening, thinking about track listing. That was like mad important to me, and not really that important to anyone else, I don't think, in the team, but it was just like something that I really didn't feel a sense of ease until I locked it down, because it was so important to me, just because I'm an album fan. I love, like, when someone releases a record, I never want to shuffle anything, because I'm assuming that there's an intention to how they're falling. And so for me, I think Seasons going into Timekeeper 2, it just marks two completely different sides of me. Timekeeper is a very angsty sort of I'm mad at you thing, and Seasons is its very self-reflective thing, and I really like the dichotomy of them and just sort of how it was different in this contrast. And I was like, well, what can I bring them together with? And I was like, move forward like the Seasons. I have this train memo. I love this guy's voice. Let's see if it works. And it did.
Love. I mean, that's like, you had no idea you were going to use that train sound.
No, but this is the thing. I record like anything that I hear that I think's cool. Like, I'll just get it down and I might use it.
But I feel like it's meant to be recorded. Because
Yeah.
when you're recording that sound, do you know the story you're looking to tell between those two records? Do you even know that those
No.
records exist?
I don't even know if when we did the Vegas interlude, if Black on Black had been written yet. I don't think it had been. But it was just, how can you not record her saying that? You know, like she was just this like fantastic, wonderful woman, and just what she was saying was just so funny. Was just so cool to me. 2 floors of ladies and 1 floor full of Chippendales. And then she's saying towards the end, she's like, I always tell the ladies, I say, go find the Cuban guy over there. He wants to give you a lap dance. Like, come on.
Did you find him?
No, I didn't. I did find Arcade Fire that weekend, though.
Ah, so no strip club.
Best show of my life. No, never did that.
Next time, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's really my speed.
Well, you know what? I got to give you credit. Was there confidence? Like, you take your shirt off in the middle of your show.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You
yeah.
go from white to black on black.
Yeah.
Mature, grown-up Greyson once again.
Yeah, I try not to think, and anytime I see a photo online of it, I'm like, oops, swipe. Like, I really don't want to look
I'm
at
gonna
it.
pretend like you don't exist.
But that was a moment too. I had watched a lot of, remember, did you ever watch Gaga when she did the Gaga Visions? The early, there were vlogs that she did when she was on the club tour. So this is like circa 2008, 2010.
No, but now I know what I'm watching.
Oh yeah, you have to go back. There's these amazing vlogs, and it would show her club show. And so when I was thinking a lot about this tour, I didn't have a lot of money for production and, a whole different series of things. And I was like, how can I make this show feel big? Like, what are the things that I can do?
Take your shirt off.
The interludes really helped. Well, no,
Okay.
but the taking of the shirt off is not, it's introing that song and by me like showing myself, because that song is more sexual than the other songs on the record. But what it serves as is like, it's you're going into the next act in the show.
It's
Because
light
then
and
I go into 21, then it's good as gold. And so for me, it was like, this is a great interlude. Like, this is just a great intermission for me to really stand in front of the audience, say, okay, you've seen me now for 45 minutes, and you're seeing me a bit more intimately. I'm about to sing you this song, which is very, very intimate. And then, we go on to the rest of the show.
I love the shirts. Every city gets
Yeah.
its own shirt.
Spray painted in my parents' garage.
Love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you made them all ahead of time.
I've been making them in chunks because I don't really pack light. So I'm about to hop on a flight right after I finish up with you guys back to Oklahoma. But I have 3 suitcases.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they're all, so that when I left Oklahoma for tour, both of them, the first one was 58 pounds.
What do you?
And then the second one was like 56.
What
And
do
I
you got?
looked, too many clothes. And I looked to the woman, and she was like, is there any way that you can get them below? And I was like, no. And she was like, okay. Just like stitch them up and put them back. But so then I had to start doing the shirts in chunks. Not that like 8 more white t-shirts is what's taking up the weight, but in my mind I'm like, oh, I
That's where I
really need
need
all
the
the
whole-
production. No, it's probably like the 80 leather jackets and the boots and like those are probably the things taking it up.
Oh, Greyson Chance. What?
We keep talking about this like adult, grown, you're a man now.
Yeah.
Does it bother you when people still like, Greyson Chance, isn't he the kid that sung on Ellen 10 years ago?
It doesn't bother me. It's just like, wow, how do you have that memory? Yeah, that's me. Like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but it's just, I'm really sick and tired of talking about it.
I'm sure you are.
It's like, just, talk to me about my record. It would, again, too, like, and then when people come back at me and they're like, well, it's a part of your story. Dan, let's talk about what you were doing 10 years ago.
Like,
Do
I
you
don't
want to
even-
talk about that right now?
Not at all.
No, of course
It
not.
almost means nothing.
Yeah, and again, too, it's not that I'm ashamed. It's not that I regret anything. Man, I'm so proud of that video. Oh, my God, it gave me the career I have now.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it was 10 years ago. It's old news. We have a lot better things to talk about.
It shouldn't be the focus of any discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it serves a purpose to mention the fact that you were one of the... Dude, you changed virality in the way we
course.
looked at YouTube.
Of course. Now, that's okay. That's an interesting conversation. But when I get questions like, did you ever talk to the girls in the audience, after, or did you ever do like this or that? I'm just like, come on. Really? We're still on that? Okay. Yeah.
I remember watching you on the Miranda Cosgrove tour at PNC Bank Art Center.
Back in the day, I wasn't taking my shirt off then.
Yo, your tiny ass was behind
Yeah.
the piano. Looking
Right
like
where I belonged.
like this.
Yeah.
Like underneath.
Still put on a good show, though. I
Yo,
think.
your fingers moved like nobody's business. I remember watching you perform and going backstage, and like, you know, you were the opener, so you didn't have the fanciest dressing room, but you were like
No,
a little bit
never.
underneath.
Yeah.
And I remember the separation between the headliner's dressing room at PNC Bank Art Center and
Me
the
in like the
opener.
closet.
Dude,
Yeah.
you were like downstairs in a dungeon,
Yeah.
and Miranda's in like this lofty
Yeah.
with fake stars in the sky.
Yeah.
It was all wood panels. It's nice. But I remember seeing your mom, and I go, yo, the way your son plays the piano is unlike anything I've ever seen. Am I staring at the next generation, Elton John? Because the way your fingers move, bro. And the one thing, this show, not a lot of you behind a piano.
I think it's like 5 or 6 songs.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
How does that instrument play into the artist you want to become?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, without it, I can't write. I mean, I write everything to piano. And even when we get into, you know, more tech-sided things or if things turn towards sense, like it all starts with that aspect. But I think, I don't know, for this show and just for where I'm at now, I feel way more comfortable than I've ever felt on stage. And I like being up in front of the crowd and sort of with them. But I think it will always be, you'll never come to a show and not see me on keys at one point. I'm never going to completely kill that. And also, too, I think there will be moments in the future where you're going to come to a show and I'll probably be on piano more, maybe than 50% of the show. It just depends where the next thing takes me. I've already started writing for the next one.
Giddy up.
Giddy up, let's go.
Where are we at?
Yeah.
How many records you got?
A few.
Cool.
Yeah.
See, like, by the way, you're more comfortable on stage because it's your music. It's genuine
Yeah.
to you.
Finally. It took a while.
And the piano is just a vessel to help create your tunes.
It's true. It's true.
Give me, just solely me,
Mhm.
an album that is mostly piano.
Okay, I can do that. What are you doing tonight?
I'm heading to Oklahoma, actually.
You wanna? Cool, me too.
What are the chances? But I'm a vegetarian. I can't eat steak. Dan, final thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you now have this like deep, hot, manly voice.
Thanks, man.
I could listen to.
Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, do that again. Do that again. Do that again for me.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I was thinking about all the weirdos like ASMRing to your voice during this.
What's going on?
Yeah, you
How
could.
are you guys?
Ooh.
Wait, it's like the weird. I really hate that.
You'd be
That's
good at it
so
though.
creepy.
So
You have like the
good.
perfect voice for it.
Relax.
What?
Sleep.
Keep going.
Don't vote for ex candidate who
You
we
just
don't like.
you start brainwashing people.
Yeah.
But I did have a real question.
Yes,
Did
please.
that affect or scare you moving forward with music because it's not the 14-year-old voice you're used to, or not used to? You had.
Or did you have to figure out how to treat it differently?
Yeah, it changed on the road when I was like 15. Also, probably another reason why I got dropped so quickly after that. I think they were probably all like, oh, no.
You can't sing anymore.
Yeah.
Is that like an ageist thing? Are they against puberty? Like,
Kind of, I guess. Yeah, it's extremely scary. You have to, the best way that I can sort of, or the best like metaphor I can apply for it is, it would be like if you're a painter and you have this great set of brushes, right, that you've been using for a long, long, long time. And then all of a sudden you're handed just a completely new thing of brushes. It's not that you don't know how to use them. It's just you have to retrain yourself with these new tools and figure it out.
Okay.
And that's how it was. My voice has finally, probably in the last year, settled completely. But male voices actually don't settle until 22, 23 years old,
oh,
around there.
so I'm stuck with what I got.
Yeah. But you wouldn't notice it if you're not singing all the time. But even if you listen back to a record that I did maybe a year or two ago to where I'm at now, you can hear it. And probably because there's a few packs of Marlboros in between there too. But
Yeah, that timbre though you got,
yeah, I'm like really tempted now to just like talk super low for the rest of this.
dude. I want to hear your voice often.
Man,
You-
I'm into it. I like that deep voice.
Oh, whoa. You smoke cigarettes.
I really don't actually though. I quit. I guess. Well, I've had some missteps. I like officially quit like 8 or 9 months ago.
Good.
Yeah.
Easy.
No, absolutely not.
What are you supplementing with?
I do the stupid e-nicotine things sometimes.
Okay.
But those are probably just as bad for you, I think, in a way.
Definitely.
Yeah.
At your worst, were you smoking a pack a day? What were you doing?
Oh no, never. Maybe like 3 or 4
Okay.
on like a night when I was drinking, maybe 6.
Got it.
Yeah.
By the way, smoking cigarettes while running, that is like a terrible combination.
The best cigarette that you will ever smoke is right after a good run.
Yeah, from all the torture you just put yourself
Yeah.
through.
Tell you right here. It's worth it. But no, seriously, I think like one of my biggest regrets. But the thing is like cigarettes will always have that aesthetic where, you know, when you're young and you're 15 or 16, it's like the bad thing to do. It's like, don't get caught. I wish I would have never picked that up.
Yeah.
It's a horrible habit.
Do not smoke. Let's put something else in that vice category. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what could we replace cigarettes with that young people would be like, ooh, I'm gonna be a badass if I do this.
Well, now it's the Juul, but that's just
No,
as bad.
Don't do Juuls. Help people.
Help people.
Vegetables.
Smile at a stranger and eat a Brussels sprout if you really want to be a badass.
Damn straight. A message that I support.
Come on. Hey, I'm inviting myself to your Pride shows.
Please do. It's going to be a really fun summer.
You're doing LA Pride. Very exciting.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's really my first, this will be my first time on this tour too, you know, I've met, so many fans within the community, and it's been so cool. And this will be like my first big thing with anything. Like, I mean, LA Pride's a big deal, you know, so it feels cool to sort of introduce myself to the grander community.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm excited.
And the gays like you.
I think so.
I saw them at the Roxy. They came
they
out.
were there. Yeah.
They showed up.
Yeah.
They support.
Yeah, they were there for sure, which is nice.
Does that make you feel whole in a sense, right?
Yeah, you know, I think there was one, I call him a kid, but I think he was probably my age. He came to the show in New York, and right after I was reading through some of my Instagram DMs, and he sent me a message, and I think he was my age, and he said, hey, just so you know, I saw the show tonight. I've been waiting to come out to my family for a few years, and something about the way you played, I did it tonight. And so then he told me that he was going to be at the Boston show a few weeks later, and I said, I have to meet you, you know, you have to come back. And we talked for like 30 minutes before I went on stage that day, and it just was really, really cool. Cool to just meet him and hear how the music inspired him, and to think that, at the end of the day, what do I have to pity myself for? You know, it's like, it's really cool to see that's happening, and to be able to have that contribution. It felt really, really good.
It matters.
Yeah, 100%.
Portraits, totally worth your ear. Mm-hmm. Please listen to it. It's a phenomenal album. Greyson
Thanks.
Chance, I love you.
Hey, I love you too. And seriously, thank you so much for having me back on. I've been talking to Zach about this for so long, and it feels really cool to be here, and to actually have something to promote. Feels nice.
My door is always open to you as long as you don't socially associate with Dan.
Okay.
That is, hang out with Dan once.
Okay.
I'm going to put a lock on the door.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much, guys.
No, I love you. Let's do this for years to
Really
come.
too,
Greyson
man.
Chance.
Thanks.
I really hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you did, please subscribe and also check out our podcast. There's a link in the description, and also comment and like and do things. Other interviews are on the screen somewhere, so click them. Thanks for watching.